Let's do this. So welcome to this elite training call for elite qualifications in the year 2019 for elite year 2020. Remember, we always do it the coming year because we don't want you to get your swag and it has the previous year on it. So that's what it is. You will earn elite in 2019. So after I go through this, you guys can absolutely ask me questions. Connie, if you're at work, you can absolutely type them and I will look in the chat and we'll get to that. This call is being recorded and I will post it in the group after we're all done. So I'm really grateful that you guys are all here, even though it's launch day. I hope that you're selling tons of Transform 20 stuff. It's awesome. So excited. First, what we're doing with the new elite program, we're calling it Road to Elite. So whether you want to be elite or not, you're on this road to elite. Every coach starts at the very beginning in the beginning of the year. So Melanie Mitro is a nothing. Amy Silverman is a nothing. Like nobody's team builder, nobody's anything until 5 weeks in, okay? So the first step on the road to elite is team builder. Okay, so what we're doing is we're not necessarily getting rid of leadership ladder, but we're incorporating it. So it's going to look a little bit different. So team builder, the first thing you have to do is be a diamond. Now, you can be a diamond. It's not going to change the fact that you hit diamond for 1 week, you're a lifetime diamond. Okay, but to be team leader, you have to hold diamond for 6 consecutive weeks. Doesn't matter if it's in the bonus period or not, you just have to hold it for 6 consecutive weeks. Then you have to have 25 leadership points, and we'll totally get into how to earn those. It is no different than this year's qualifications, how you earn your leadership points. We're just calling them leadership points instead of elite points, okay? Because they're building you on this road to elite. So 25 leadership points, and we'll get into how to earn those. You need 1 new emerald in that year. Now that emerald also has to hold for 6 weeks or 1 week in December. So hold for 6 weeks, being paid for 6 consecutive weeks as an emerald, or paid emerald in December. And that's with all of these rank advancements, okay? Does that make sense? So then you also need 1,000 team volume on your weak leg. Now let me get into this and be very, very clear, is with this 1,000 team volume on your weak leg, it can be, your weak leg can switch back and forth, and it's cumulative over those 5 weeks, okay? And it doesn't have to line up with your qualification. It doesn't have to line up with bonus weeks. It's any 5 rolling weeks. So if in those 5 weeks that adds up to 1,000, boom, checkbox done, okay? So that's just one checkbox, and that's the same for every single one of these team volume on your weak leg. Okay, so we'll just get that out of the way. It's cumulative 5 rolling weeks on the weak leg, and it can switch back and forth. So that's team builder. Okay, so 5 weeks in, many of you will be team builder, right? Because if you're already diamond, you're going to hold it for 6 weeks. You're getting Success Club. You have your people on HD. Your weak leg volume is going to be 1,000. Pretty standard stuff. So the next step is team leader. So this is 1 star, held for 6 weeks. And if you're already a 1-star diamond, this is something that I had to ask a question on because it wasn't quite clear to me. But if you are already a 1-star diamond, let's say you're 1-star diamond right now, and you move into next year as a 1-star diamond, you have to hold it for 6 weeks as though you're re-qualifying, or 1 week in December. Make sense? Okay. So, but to be team leader, you have to advance 2 new emeralds and 1 new diamond. Either or. When you do one of those things, it's a checkbox. So 2 new emeralds or 1 new diamond. And the qualifications for them are the same. 6 weeks, 1 week in December. Okay, like I said, so you see a pattern going here. It's really simplified. So really, when you look at it, it's like a checklist for each one of these things. And like Kevin said, when you reach these landmarks, you're going to get the little glass trophy thing, which is actually awesome. You could kill somebody with that thing. It's really heavy, like no lie. And me, of course, me and my OCD, I'm like, I feel like I need gloves because I leave fingerprints all over it all the time. So yeah, if you have like a toddler, just beware. Like, this is why we don't have nice things. So team leader. And the points, you need 50 leadership points. So 25 to start, 50 team leader, the 2 new emeralds or 1 new diamond, and this one moves up to 2,500 for team volume on your week leg. Okay? Again, that's cumulative, any 5 weeks rolling. Got it? Perfect. Moving on to Premier. So Premier Leader is much like it was this year, but there are some differences that I need to point out because really things get pretty exciting, and these are the 2, Elite and Premier are really the 2 that people go for, right? Like those are the really exciting things where you start to get like cute swag and you get, you know, special parties and things like that. So I want to be very clear on this one because I want to see you all at the top 2, Elite and Premier. Okay. So you do have to be 2-star diamond, held for 6 weeks or 1 week in December. And again, my goal for all of you is to be at least 2 stars so that you can open your second CBC. Right? Because that helps income and all kinds of things. So that's the first thing that you need to do is be a 2-star diamond. You need to advance 1 new diamond, which has changed, guys. It used to be 2 new diamonds. Now it's 1. So advance 1 new diamond, 5,000 TV on your weak leg. So it doubles from team leader to Premier, any 5 rolling weeks, 75 leadership points. Now, one thing to notice here, it was 105 this year, same as Elite, but there were no caps. So the caps didn't kick in until Elite. And this is where it kind of like the moving parts start to happen. So with these 75 points, when you, in those categories, you have maximums. So once you hit that maximum, those points don't count anymore. Okay. So with this one, you need 75 leadership points. And in those 3 categories, you have personally sponsored Success Club, you have APV, and you have SC+1. So 2 of those, the Success Club, personally sponsored Success Club, and the APV cap out at 50. So with a lot of Premier coaches, my experience has been tons of coaches 2-star and under get a ton of APV because they're super good at huge challenge groups and they're super good at bringing challengers on. And they have been able to get themselves to Premier just in that APV area. That's no longer going to be the case. This is going to be more of a balanced team effort going into Premier. So yes, it's less points, but that doesn't necessarily mean easier. Got it? Okay, so moving on to Elite. Again, a lot the same and a little bit different. So 5-star diamond, held for 6 weeks or 1 week in December, paid 5-star, 105 balanced leadership points, which means you have to mind the maximums. Okay, and we'll get into that in a minute when I talk about the points because they haven't really changed, but they have to be balanced. 2 new diamonds, you have to advance 2 new diamonds within the year, and it's 5,000 week leg volume as well. So Premier and Elite have the same week leg volume requirements. So talking about the points and how you get those points, I'm just going to go scratch the surface, just lightly talk about them. And if you need more clarification and really digging in, I'm more than happy to get on a call with you and really dig in. So the first category is personally sponsored Success Club, which means your 2000, it's the previous year and the current year coaches. Okay. So in 2019, it will be 2018 coaches and 2019 coaches. When they hit Success Club, you get 1 point. Okay. When you hit it as well, it doubles. Side note here, if you do not hit Success Club, you will get 1 point. And if you have 5 coaches hit Success Club and you don't hit it, No, I'm sorry. Then you'll get 5 points. But if you hit it and none of your coaches do, you don't get a point. Does that make sense? Because 1 times 0 is still 0, or 2 times 0 is 0. So even if you hit it, you're not going to get points. You have to have someone else hit it as well. Okay. Just making sure. So when you're like, oh, well, I hit Success Club and I didn't get a point, that's why. Because no one else on your team got it. So it's very important to tell your team of the importance of Success Club. Most of our most successful coaches hit 10 to 20 every single month. They're not hitting 50. They're not hitting 100. They're helping people that are in manageable numbers. I know you guys hear about all these coaches who are like, oh, Success Club 300 and it's so cool. Like, that's great. That's great. But please don't think that that's the norm, okay? Because I've interviewed so many coaches in the top 50, and they say, oh, I'm SC about 10 to 20 every month, sometimes less, but I always hit Success Club. So I hope that brings you a little bit of comfort, because it is doable. And a lot of those coaches know that when you bring in someone, they have 2 to 3 people behind them. Which part, Connie? Most of the most successful coaches get 10 to 20 Success Club points. Oh, so in order to count for elite points, your coaches for next year to earn elite points next year have to be signed up in 2018 or 2019. So any coach that's signed up before that in 2017 and before, they don't count. So you could have 4 coaches hitting Success Club, but if they all signed up in 2017, they won't count for your elite points. Hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, you guys. I was just trying to move my mouse on the table. That's hilarious. Okay, so that's category 1. Category 2 is APV, which is acquisition personal volume, which means all of your new coaches and customers from 2018, any of their volume, every 500 volume that you do, you get 1 point from them. So I'm going to tell you a secret here, okay? And the secret is, when you sign up people in January, you absolutely want to have a huge first quarter, because when you do that, every single time they get a Shakeology, or every single time they get a home direct order, that adds on to your APV. So it's like this little tiny snowball, and by December, you have this huge snowball of volume that you're getting points on, okay? So what's that R word? The retention, that one. Retention is the name of the game. That's really going to help you guys, because if you're doing that and you're retaining customers from the very first quarter and you're still getting a Success Club, you really don't have to worry about APV. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that's so much. Guess what? If you just do your job and you're helping people and you're focusing on retention and keeping them on these products, helping them have the healthiest year ever, it's just going to happen. Okay. So try not to stress about that one. That was APV. And that was only coaches and customers from current year. So next year will be 2019 coaches and customers. Another question I get a lot is, if they've already been a Beachbody customer with another coach, they do count for you if they're if you are coaching them for the first time in that year. Okay. It's new to you, coaches and customers. Okay. Cool. Now the last one is, I call it SC+1, but there's really no short way to say it. It's whenever you get a coach, new coach in 2019, when they hit SC in their first full month, when they get on the board for Success Club in their first month, you get a point. So let's say, for example, you recruit me on January 5th. I have the rest of January and all of February to get on the board for Success Club. I only need 1 Success Club point for you to get a point in Elite. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, I hit Success Club in January and February. Okay. I got on the board both months. Yes, you get 1 point in the SC+1, but only 1. In that category, you can only get 1 point per coach. But you would also get those points in personally sponsored Success Club if I'm hitting Success Club. Okay. So you can kind of double dip on those, but it's just 1 point per coach with the SC+1. Okay. So the caps for SC+1 is 25. For APV, it's 50. And for personally sponsored Success Club is also 50. So when you see those balanced points, just know that to get the next level, you have to mind those caps in Premier and Elite. Okay. For the other ones, it doesn't matter because you can get team leader getting all 50 in APV. I hope that makes sense. So like I said, there's a lot of moving parts here, but it's just a lot more comprehensive and it's a lot more teamwork than it was in years past. So as far as ranking goes, when you're talking about elite rankings, one thing that a lot of coaches don't realize is that in Premier, yeah, we know your ranking in the company up until the very end. But when the report actually comes out and we get to call you and tell you you're a Premier coach and you ended the year at like 103 and you wanted to be, within the top 100, we don't know that. Those rankings are not on the report. So elite, yes, absolutely. We know the difference if you're 203 or 85. But for Premier, we just don't know. You're just an elite coach. You're just a Premier coach. And I say just not in any way trying to take away from that. Okay. So just know that because it's so exciting to see that throughout the year. And it's so cool to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're like 155. Wow, it's so cool. And then at the end of the year, it's like, okay, yep, you made it. You're Premier. And just the curiosity gets to a lot of people. So just a little side note there. It's still an amazing accomplishment. So don't let that deter you. Just know that's how it is. And then with the rankings, how we do that is those points that go above and beyond the caps, that will affect where you are in the company. Okay. So yeah, they do make a difference in where you are on that whole thing. And if you advance a coach, and Allie, I think this is what you were asking me about because it's kind of changed. So when you advance a coach from 1-star to 4-star, every single time they advance, you get 25 leadership points. Please note, they are not elite points. They do not count towards any of the team builder, team leader, Premier, elite. They are separate points, leadership development points. Okay. But that does make a difference between number 8 and number 2. Okay. So you'll get a point from 1-star to 4-star because we think after 4-star, they're probably not needing you as much, right? You're not necessarily developing them as a leader anymore. And you will also get 25 leadership development points for every coach who hits Success Starter in your organization. And that's what's changed because it used to be team leader, I think. And since the leadership ladder is now incorporated, that looks a little different. So it's now Success Starter also gets you 25 leadership development points. And that's what's changed. So that's pretty much it. You guys can take yourself off mute and ask me a question. No. So up to 100 points or 25. So if they hit team leader, so let's say you get Success Starter, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, that's actually 125 points in one coach. So every time they hit one of those. So the team leader, no, you wouldn't get points for team leader because it's incorporated within the Road to Elite. So it's now not a separate thing, it's a together thing. Does that make sense? So every year it's gonna be wiped clean. Whereas before, if you hit team leader, you were a team leader forever and ever. Right? Kind of like 1-star coach. Okay, any questions, you guys? You can go ahead and take yourself off mute.
I actually have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, will the back office change in the new year to kind of to reflect like the changes in how the elite rankings are, or how the points have changed? You know how like normally you can kind of go and watch your points. Will the back office kind of change to reflect?
I assume it will.
I'm assuming. Okay,
Yeah.
And then my only other question, is there a way to, I know the APV includes our coaches too, but obviously like our customers, we can see that volume, but our coaches, we can't really see that PV. We can only see the team volume. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to like calculate your APV, or you basically are just going to have to like trust the points as they show up in your back office?
I mean, you can always ask them.
Okay.
What's going on, and you can also see if they're ordering their shakes.
Right.
You know, but yeah, it is, that one's harder to track for sure.
Okay.
It is, and it always has been.
Will there be a new worksheet?
Yes, we have different. There's going to be like a different Success Club tracker, and then there's a different Road to Elite sheet, okay. And it even has a place for you to track your week leg volume.
Oh, cool.
For 5 weeks, so that you can see and add it up and make sure that you're on track with that. Yeah. Thank you for those questions. Who else has one?
Will there still be a way to, like, will leadership ladders still exist on the back office? So, like, recognizing people if they hit team leader or whatever, or is that going to go away since these are kind of merging?
That's a really good question. Because it would be a recognition piece for you.
Yeah.
Well,
you can always get back to me with the answer too.
I will for sure. These are things that, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this as a call where we could talk to each other instead of just me talking at you, because I want to get your input and like ask these questions before we get all started. We'll go to the for PS coaches be available in the back office for recognition. What do you see right now? You are able to see if they get to team leader and things like that. So I would assume so. And like what we've done this year on our Elite report is whenever somebody checks off all the boxes, it has a leader premier beside their name. So I am 99% sure that there will be something there so that you can recognize your team. I can't imagine that that's not a piece that we would push.
But would the baby ones go away? Like, what is it? Like business start, the one where it's almost like if they, know, because there's some that are underneath like the new team builder.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Kind of. Yeah, so they will be gone.
Yeah. So okay. I definitely would stress the importance of Success Starter, because that's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's still something that you can recognize them for. And I think what will happen is Minneapolis is calling me. I think it's a great way to be able to put focus on the road to elite. So what you want is you want your people to advance on the road with you. Mm-hmm. So instead of it being like, oh, this thing over here, like I can recognize you for this, but it makes no difference in what's happening on my road and my journey. So you guys are unified now as a team and as business partners, and you're all going for the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to help align us all, and it'll be a tool for you to use in your team and say, hey guys, let's get team builder. Perfect. Like I'm so excited for you, because if you look at the requirements, really, if you're a diamond and you're hitting Success Club, you're going to be a team leader or team builder. If you're just doing these things that you're supposed to do every day, it's just going to kind of happen.
Do you have a recommendation for how to roll this out to our teams? Maybe we have coaches who are diamonds or like close to diamond or whatever. Just curious what your thoughts are.
I would say, especially for your team, Caroline, because your team is going to be elite next year, like for sure. So talking about it now and showing them where you are now and saying, look, this is the first step, and next year, this is what we're going to do. And I want to see you guys check off all these landmarks along the way. So being very honest with them and encouraging them to watch the video on the Champs page with all of the perks, with the book and the preferred seating, and even past that, that's kind of like those things are kind of for you as the elite coach, but as a team, so a lot of people run into, I get the bonuses. Since I'm the elite coach, I get the bonuses. I get the extra $600 a month. Like, what's in it for my team, basically? And my perception, and this is just me, like if I was an elite coach and if I was part of an elite team, I feel like you reinvesting into your team and loving on them even harder with trainings, with retreats, with exclusive gear for your diamonds. Those are the things that you attract more flies with honey, right? So if you're going to love on them, that's huge. And statistically speaking, coaches that are on elite teams are more successful. That's just a statistic, because you have a leader that knows what she's doing. That means you have access to better trainings and to more successful coaches, which in turn makes you more successful, because the more you surround yourself with successful people, that's what you become. That's just a proven fact. You are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So as an elite coach, you're going to surround yourself with elite coaches. Your coaches are going to surround themselves with you and your coaches. So it's just this beautiful domino effect. And that's how I would present it to my team, not just the rewards and the, oh my gosh, I'm going to love on these 5 diamonds so hard you're going to lose your mind, but I'm going to help you to be more successful, because the goal is to help people and have an income doing it.
I can say that last Sunday not last Sunday, like this 2 days ago, we did our own PowerPoint and went through basically like everything they did in the Beachbody Champions page, and it was like our entire downline for my team. And so I made it easy because we basically stressed, like Mary said in the beginning, like everybody starts at 0. And so, anything can happen in a year, and you shouldn't kind of be like, I'm the baby coach that hasn't done anything yet, and that you can't be to wherever. And then basically, as far as the bonuses were, because they all know about those as well, we picked place. Basically said, if we reached, elite this year, this is where we're going on our retreat. And all of our diamonds that, our diamond can go, not just with the 5 or whatever, but like with that bonus, we're pouring it back into a retreat for the team. So it kind of like puts a little bit of like fun on the line too. But we kind of, they can watch it in the Champions page. So I feel like I'm going to be as transparent with them as possible.
Absolutely.
Totally. That was kind of my plan. And I think really we have a team call tomorrow night, so I was going to go through all that kind of like you were talking about, but really encouraging them to push for Premier and maybe even elite themselves, because at the end of the day, like I want to see them all be successful and, hit their big goals and dreams that they've set. So that's kind of what I was going to lead with, is almost just encouraging them to push for it, but also saying like we're going for it as a team as well,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like, I know it's hard for like me sometimes, like, is there anything, like, I know we have this like road to elite, but is there like an example, like especially for coaches that are like new to the business, or maybe they're like only Emerald, showing them that if they hit, like my problem with my team is a lot of my coaches are like afraid to set goals, so they don't ever reach them, like let alone Success Club. And so, sorry, my kid is like breaking things in here. And to show them that it's like, it's possible from the beginning of the year to the end, that if they meet certain road marks, this is how the points would kind of accumulate.
Absolutely. So when we release the tracker will have broken down how many coaches you need to have in Success Club per month. It will show how many new coaches or customers you have to have per month in order to stay on track with your APV. Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
Yep,
right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And we even have that now. And it's, like I said, it's not really going to change as far as that goes, because the point values are the same. So really 2 to 3 coaches, like I can tell you right now, 2 to 3 coaches per month hitting Success Club and yourself, boom, there's your points. You will have more than enough if you focus on 2 to 3 coaches hitting Success Club. For APV, one new coach per month, but that one is assuming that the coach the month before is staying on and assuming that you're hitting Success Club as well. Make sense? So that you will have to adjust yourself just because you know full well that you're not going to have one coach stay per month. That's just like, we know that. We're not being silly. So if you max out those two categories, which are more the business activities that you're going to do anyway, then you only need 5 coaches to hit SC plus 1 in their first month. And that had 5 times. And that's right. I actually think that's, I don't want to say easier, but I don't think it's hard, because you're going to bring coaches in and you're going to say, okay, who's your plus 1? Who else are you bringing into this opportunity? What can we do to get you to Success Club in your very first month so that you can get your product paid for and you can get, you know, your own challenge group and you can hit Success Club and get them those fast wins in their very first.
Right. Yeah. And I do think, like, one thing I stress to my team actually on the Sunday call is we're taking away, I know Mary, you and I had talked about it when we had met one-on-one, is like taking away I know a lot of coaches do the discount coach thing. I mean, we do it, especially when you're like needing bodies for like rank or whatnot. Sure. But I was telling them, I was like, you know, as far as the Success Starter thing, like if you're a discount coach, that takes that option away if they ever convert, you know, because they're already a coach. Absolutely. And so they were like, oh, I didn't realize that. Well, yeah, it's not like, oh, I decided to coach today, so that's going to keep that in. It's totally, you know, null and void. So like, that's something I feel like we're going to have to like really avoid in 2019. And then I had one other question, and I will think of it. Hopefully somebody has another question.
Danielle, are you good? Caroline, anything else? Elizabeth, Connie? Connie's good.
Okay, I thought of my question.
You thought of it. Okay.
For Premier, I know you said that the 75 points kind of had to be balanced too. So does that mean that like you couldn't get them all? Because I know the other 2 are like 50-point caps. So do you have to have some points in the SC plus 1? Is that kind of what you were saying? Or it needs to be 25, 25, and 25?
No.
Because I only saw, okay.
So you just can't have more than the max. You can't, anything above and beyond the cap won't count. Okay. So you will have to have, I mean, I guess it's possible that you max out like the SC and then the SC plus 1.
Right.
Sure. I don't think that, I think that's kind of impossible, but sure. Yeah. There's nothing that says you can't do that. You just can't go above the caps.
Okay.
There are no minimums. If that answers your question. Caroline, you took yourself off mute.
I was going to ask, when is the tracker going to be available?
That's always a hard question to answer, because they send it in the office and we mark it all up and then we're like, oh, this is confusing and this is confusing and let's make this. So it's hard to say, but I do know I actually saw a mock-up yesterday that we were marking up. So they are currently working on it. I would say sometime in January.
Okay, cool. I have my own like Google like Excel version, but I just wondered.
Yeah, I actually think it would be super awesome if we, and this is totally Mary talking, and I know we're recording, so this is just me talking out loud. I think it would be cool to have it on an app that you guys had access to for your PS coaches. But
what does the tracker look like? Like I don't even know if I've ever. Is it just a piece of paper you write it down monthly or something?
What the tracker looks like now?
Yeah.
Maybe I can find it for you.
Like it's not like something, because like my husband built me like a little tracker on Google Excel where it like keeps up with everything and I populate people's names in and stuff. I didn't know if it was that like extensive.
It's pretty comprehensive. Let's see, Elite Goal Guide.
I've probably seen it before, I just don't remember.
Let's see, because the last time I looked in here, it was not in here. Yeah, see, it's still not in there. Like a whole freaking year, and it's not in there.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think the old one is like from like 2016. The one that's in the back office.
And I know that we have one for this year. Oh, well, yeah, here we go. And there's no. Anyway, what it looks like, Caroline, is it has on the top, it has kind of the blurb of like what Elite is, and it kind of explains things. And then it has a big rectangle, and it has like an example at the start. So let's say the SC Plus or the Personally Sponsored Success Club, it has number of coaches that hit Success Club, and then it has blank boxes. And then it has you hit times 2. And so you can track each month as it goes on. So the categories are horizontal, and then the months are broken up in between. Does that make sense? So this one is kind of like that, but they had to make a section that tracks your TV as well on your week lag. So it's a little bit, they try and make it one sheet. And so it gets a little bit involved and crazy looking, but as a coach, like you'll understand it. It's a valuable tool, which is why I think like an app would be so great, because you could scroll instead of having it all compiled on this one sheet. You could be like, okay, like swipe, 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 and you could have a summary at the beginning. Anyway, I digress. I'm not a developer and I have no idea what that would cost, but in a perfect world, right?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Does that help?
Yeah, totally. Okay. No, I appreciate it.
Perfect. Anything else, you guys? I don't want to leave you with any question unanswered. If you think of one, you can ask on the page or send me a message.
Will the points still update on the like second Friday? Will that stay the same? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason it does that, guys, I know it's frustrating sometimes because you want to see it like right away at the beginning of the month. That's when they run the SC report. So if they were to run it earlier than that, the SC numbers wouldn't be updated. Just like now, we still don't have the live numbers for November because they haven't run the SC report yet. So,
yeah, I think the back office is acting crazy right now because I was trying to look at my sponsorship drill down, and it's like keeps getting error messages. Like it's not showing anything.
It's probably doing a lot of work today.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, anything else, you guys? I'm so happy that you hopped on. Okay, perfect.